In Genesis chapter 5, we're given a record of Adam's family line. At first glance, it might look like just a long list of names and ages, but hidden in these verses are powerful lessons about life, death, and what it truly means to walk with God. Generation after generation is listed, from Adam all the way to Noah. Each name reminds us that God's plan for humanity continued, even after the fall in the Garden of Eden and the tragedy of Cain and Abel. Despite humanity's brokenness, God's promise of life still moved forward. As we read, a pattern begins to stand out. Each person is introduced, their years are counted, their children are named, and then the line closes with the same phrase, "And then he died." Adam lived 930 years, and then he died. Seth lived 912 years, and then he died. Enoch, Kenan, Mahalo, Jared, one after another, their lives came to an end. It's almost like a drumbeat, reminding us of the reality of sin's consequence. Back in Genesis 2:17, God warned Adam that if he disobeyed, death would come. And in Genesis 3:19, God declared, "For dust you are, and to dust you will return." Now, in Genesis 5, we see that word coming true. Death had entered the world, and no matter how long someone lived, the end was the same. This chapter shows us that sin brings death, a truth that still holds today. No matter how strong or successful a person is, without God, the end is certain. But in the middle of this rhythm of death, one name breaks the pattern. Verse 21 introduces us to Enoch. Enoch lived 65 years and became the father of Methuselah. But then something different is said. Enoch walked faithfully with God. For 300 years after the birth of his son, Enoch lived in close fellowship with the Lord. And then comes the most remarkable statement in the entire chapter. Enoch walked faithfully with God. Then he was no more, because God took him away. Unlike the others, Enoch's story does not end with death. Instead, it ends with God's presence. He never experienced the grave. He was taken up, body and soul, into God's eternal care. But what does it mean that Enoch walked with God? This phrase is more than just belief. It means daily relationship, obedience, and trust. Enoch didn't just acknowledge God, he lived every day in step with him. Hebrews 11:5 explains it this way. By faith Enoch was taken from this life so that he did not experience death. For, before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleased God. And Jude 1:14-15 even mentions Enoch as a prophet, saying he warned people of God's coming judgment. So Enoch's walk with God wasn't just private, it was public. His faith shaped how he lived, spoke, and influenced others. While the rest of Genesis 5 shows the certainty of death, Enoch's story gives us a glimpse of eternal hope. He reminds us that death is not the end for those who trust in God. Enoch points us forward to Jesus, who conquered death on the cross and opened the way to eternal life for all believers. Just as God took Enoch into his presence, Jesus promises that one day we too will be with him forever. So what does Enoch's story mean for us? First, it reminds us that faith is not just about what we believe, but about how we live. Walking with God is a daily choice. To follow him, obey his word, and seek his presence. Second, it encourages us to live with eternity in mind. Death is real, but so is eternal life. The question is, are we walking with God today? Third, it shows us that our faithfulness is never forgotten. Enoch lived in a corrupt and sinful world, yet his life was different. And thousands of years later, his example still inspires believers to trust and obey. Genesis 5 closes by pointing us to Noah, who would play a key role in God's next great work on earth. But Enoch's story stands as a shining reminder. Walk faithfully with God each day, and he will be with you always. So let's take that challenge into our own lives. Like Enoch, may we walk with God in faith, in obedience, and in hope, knowing that one day we too will be with him forever. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Jesus Every Day for more Bible stories and daily encouragement.